last time we saw Quentin Feast's twin-turbo Holden Torana, it was looking a little worse for wear. The street-driven Holden had run 740 at over 180 miles per hour, but the old 6.6 litre engine had finally cried enough. The 3-time Street Machine Drag Challenge winner is now back on the road thanks to a smaller LS engine combo. We caught up with Quentin and lead tuner Mark McCoy at Rajab Racing Developments, where the car was being run through its paces.
Basically, for all intensive purposes, the same engine as before, de-stroked. So we've got new crank rods and pistons, but we end up retaining the same engine block, not just an LQ9, the actual same block.
Oh, the actual same block?
Yeah. Turns out we had a couple of cracked caps, so replaced them, line bore it and hone it, and we're able to salvage the block. And yet, same cylinder heads, same intake manifold, same exhaust manifold, same camshaft.
What has actually changed on this setup as opposed
The only
to...
things that have changed from when we broke it last time, crank, rods, bearings, pistons, rings, lifters, valve springs, and the valves that were bent.
Why did you go for less cubic inches?
After we broke the last engine, the plan was to build a 388 cube dart motor, and that's still a plan. So standard stroke crank and bigger bore, and rev the motor, make more power on the top end, and not focus so much more on the down low. The last motor had like stonking torque down low, allowed us to leave in second gear, still holding power out of it, and it would still drive out and power wheelie and run 1.1s in the 60 but fall over in the top end. So we thought, oh well, less stroke, we'll see how we go. This is the, I suppose, slap together engine, which is not so much a slap together. It's basically the same combo what we know, but a 6 litre. Obviously with much better rotating assembly. It was a running joke running the Compstar rods for all those years, but never had a problem with them. We've got PPMs, crank rods and pistons in it now, fully centre counterweighted crank, and it seems to be working fantastic as of what we've seen so far on the dyno.
So we've just made 1,000 odd kilowatts. How does that compare to the last engine? Were you turning it harder than the last one?
No,
not
really turning it harder.
Same RPM. It just does sound like it's revving.
Sounds like it's revving.
It sounds like it's revving more than what, 7? Was it 7.1 you were turning it to?
Yeah, we've turned it to 7,500, the old motor, and we've turned this one to 7,500. But it does make its power later in the rev range. Obviously, it doesn't have the down low torque. And what was interesting was as we were coming up in the boost range, I think we ran 7 pound on the first ramp run. And what did it make, Mark? 760 horsepower or something at the hubs.
Kilowatts?
No, hub. That was horsepower. I think.
Oh, horsepower, sorry.
That's
on 7 pounds.
7 pounds.
And we're like, wow, it didn't make that last time. And then as we were putting sort of 2 pound in each time and ramping it, and Mark was tuning, it was making more horsepower per pound of boost than the bigger motor, which was a bit odd. But as we've got up to the top end, around, we're at what, 24 pound of boost now?
Yeah, just under 25 pounds.
Oh, 25. But we're not able to stick more boost in without putting bigger wastegate springs in. But we got to 1,001 kilowatts in full street trim, exhaust on and everything.
At least you can turn it down though. A lot of cars we film, their lowest power setting is, let's be honest, it's unusable. So
some would say the trick to getting drag challenge right. Anyway.
So I think Motorex in 2000 and, was it 17, 18? No, I think it might have been 18.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
Might have been 18, after we did the third drag challenge, we put up the hubs there, but we had the Zoomy pipes on out the side of it. Made,
it was
1,406
horsepower.
1,406 horsepower at the hubs.
26 pounds of boost.
And it made a little bit more boost, but with the Zoomies, we're hoping that we can make a little bit more boost. So we're gonna give it another 1 or 2 ramp
It is
runs.
a different dyno, different day though. Like I know. Now, for those that haven't seen the car, this is run what,
741, 186 mile an hour. Ran a handful of 740s at Swan Hill, and it ran 751 was its best at Sydney. Previous to that, so don't know what this is going to run. It was.
How much faster do you need to go though?
Oh, dude.
Mate, faster than 741.
Have you been around races?
It's drag racing. It's the benchmark. Whenever you set a goal and you get there, you just go, oh, I've got to go a bit further.
At that speed, though, it's like, I don't think, a lot of people don't understand like the difference between a 740 and a 720.
It's a lot of money and...
A lot of money, but just to make up that time, you're covering the ground so fast. And
Look, I would, we're not sure, I prefer to do a bit more 8th mile racing. The Kenda 660 looks pretty interesting. And throw a low set of diff gears in this and still potentially launch in second with some 389 gears or something in the rear and have a close ratio, 2-speed box. Don't know. It's all about the 60 really now and how quickly you can get the power in. So,
Mark, you're still tuning the car.
Yep.
Is it all the same setup, or have you changed anything there? Or?
Yeah, no, it's all exactly the same.
Yep.
So all we did was fix the broken bit, and everything else is exactly the same. And then all I've really had to do today was tell the ECU that it's a 6 litre and not a 6.6, and basically just trim up the bits where the efficiency is slightly different, but it's surprisingly pretty much still the same engine, just smaller. So I haven't had to do a hell of a lot. So we've decided to try a bit more timing, because the last engine just wouldn't take any more timing. It didn't make any more power, and it just got pretty close to knock. And this one seems to be less prone to knock, but putting the extra timing in doesn't make any more power. So, even though it's 10% smaller, we're doing this as an efficiency thing. It's still more or less exactly the same engine,
You've got that boost curve pretty awesome there.
Yeah, she's pretty flat. When it comes to all that kind of thing, you can spend a day on the dyno, but once you're out driving around and you're trying different things, like we always say you can tune an engine on the dyno and you shouldn't really just take it straight to the track without trimming it up, because there's a lot of things you can do on the track you can't do on the dyno. And so we spent a lot of time just refining everything. So the boost control, again, even though it's a different size motor, like I really haven't had to do anything with that. It's bang on point.
Yeah.
Good to get it back on the dyno again, and we're similar to where we were before, which has kind of amazed me a bit. A lot of guys have said, you'll make very similar power to the bigger motor. I'm like, okay. Brain's still trying to compute that, but things are different. You're a shorter stroke crank, your piston speed's different. It does behave different. It has different characteristics, but
it sounds very. It sounds like it's working harder than it is. Like, I don't mean that in a bad way, but
sounds like
it
it's
sounds
screaming.
Like it's
yeah, it does.
Yeah, it really sounds sort of happier than the old motor ever did. You definitely notice it's not a familiar sound yet. The old one, we just knew everything about it and clunks and rattles and stuff. And this one just sounds happier to be making that kind of power than the old one. So I'm not really sure what that was.
The other thing was, if you look at the dyno graph, the old motor used to just go spike straight up and then come over, and it would actually roll off, it would start rolling off towards the end, whereas this, it keeps climbing. I'm not sure what RPM everything's at, but it's literally not even falling off. I think that was 7,200, and I'm pretty happy with that, because the other motor had well and truly rolled off by then. So the smaller cubes, it is actually happier.
How much more have you got left in the turbos if you did your boost strategy?
We don't have turbo speed sensors, and we're not logging back pressure today, so I'm not quite sure, but we
need to do that.
Yeah, we run a 7-pound wastegate spring in because of Mac valves, and they generally what you put about a bar of boost on top, and that's it. We get a bit more than that, but we're literally out of Mac valve.
Yeah.
But by uncorking the exhaust, taking the twin 3-inch system off on the mufflers and just running the 4-inch zoomies, we'll give another couple of ramp runs, and we'll see how much difference it actually makes.
So she's picked up, I don't know, what's that in horsepower? I get mixed up now. 44, 45 kilowatts.
Yeah.
Pipes off.
Yeah.
But it would have picked up a little bit of boost, I'm assuming?
Yeah, we tried to put more boost into it. It wouldn't go past 25. It was just over 25 pound with the pipes on. So we thought we'll take the pipes off and see if we'll make any more boost, purely because I don't have enough wastegate spring in there. And it was about half a pound of boost, but it picked up 44 kilowatts at the wheels. So we're happy.
That's back at where you were at MotorX, yeah?
Same boost.
Yeah.
4 horsepower down.
Yeah.
So we're
Same.
I'm going to call that the same. So going from a 6.7 litre down to a 6 litre and only losing 4 horsepower for the same boost, I'm actually quite impressed. Really, really happy. Obviously, it makes a little bit less torque, but it carries it for longer in the top end. So, yeah.
Beautiful.
Really happy.
Well, get it to the track and...
We'll go for a drive on the street now. Yes, definitely get it to the track and do some racing. Can't wait.
This year marks the 25th year that we have been behind the cameras, and to celebrate we have a fresh new merch design available for pre-order. Grab your track gear from shop.fullboost.com.au.
So obviously there's a fair bit of work getting this back on the road. There must be a few people you'd like to thank.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah?
Definitely, like the same usual suspects. Mark, just got to fly him in from Queensland every time now, but it's all good. Doing the tuning. Paul Rogers, still here. Paul and Dave, building the transmissions and supporting us there. TCE, modified the converter for me. These guys have been there long time. Big shout out to Thomas at PPM. He reached out to me after your last video and said, mate, I want to help you out with a set of rods. I want you to run my rods. And then it went from rods to crank and pistons, and it's his whole rotating assembly. Yeah. So I'll have to give him a call and update this afternoon and let him know how it's all gone, which is obviously fantastic. Yeah. Really, really happy with it. Ryan from Race Coatings recoated the pipes and that after all the years of beating the snot out of this thing and drive it on drag challenges. Alan was kind enough to let us use his dyno. So this is his 3,000 horsepower hub dyno, mainline hub dyno, which has been absolutely fantastic.
Where are
him and his boys.
Where are we,
we're in Somerton. Alan Rajab Racing. So yeah, Alan and his boys have been here, let us use the dyno, pretty much take over their workshop and been helping out flat out all day. So thanks heaps, guys. Really appreciate your time and effort. So thank you. Good mates have been involved. Coxie's been throwing in big time on the spanners. Can't forget JC Engines, Joe and Clint, who works there as well now. I've always done my machining. Clint helps me screw the motor together. Not sure if he doesn't trust me or... It's Clint over there, so... No, it's just mate, good people having a good time, and we all got the same passion. We all love racing and cars and getting out there and having as much fun, and we'll be keen to get to the track now.
Yeah, well, it's good that we've got our local track's stepping up, so...
Yeah, Heathcote's looking fantastic.
Exciting times.
Hopefully Calder can get itself together, so we've got a couple of tracks to... Right, we can go racing Friday and Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Twice.
Woo!
Yeah, twice.
Oh.
I got that on camera.
You should have got that in slow-mo.
Whatever we ask for is what we get, until we got right up to the top.
At least answer it.
Faux pas.
That's my brother, I'll call him back.